Hey everybody, Mike Brunn here from The Rock Experience with Mike Brunn. A few weeks ago, I released my exclusive video I filmed in 1995 of Vinnie Vincent at the New York, New Jersey Kiss Expo. At the time, I promised I had more video to release, and here today I'm sharing with you the video I filmed in April 1994 at the New York, New Jersey Kiss Expo when none other than Criss was the guest. This is a great interview to listen to. I really enjoyed going back and watching this. You could hear Peter talk about his thoughts about doing a reunion, which wouldn't take place for another 2 years, as well as putting back on the makeup for his Cat CD. I found this one really fun. A lot of great conversation with the Cat Man. Now, I promise you, I'm going to be back with podcast episodes really soon. But for now, I hope you guys enjoyed this video I filmed in 1994 of Criss at the New York, New Jersey Kiss Expo.
My chair. How you guys doing? It's a little different for me, but this is nice. I just wanted to say I love you all, and it's good to be back.
Peter, let's start with the first question. Tell us about the new song.
Bad Attitude. I figured since the start, I had a good time with those guys. I thought I'd write a song about it, about the whole incident since my mom died at that time. And I really had a problem dealing with the Donnie show, getting guys set up. It was really hard for me because I was working on my mom, getting over her, and then I was dealing with these assholes. And it encouraged me to write a song about it, and it's going to be out for a single. So I figured, since I won a lot of money from them, I'll keep on taking money from them. And it's just a slutty magazine, man. They just don't write the truth. And, the tabloids to me are really bad.
Don't you have a new guitar player in the band?
I have a new guitarist, Mike Brunn. We call him Angel. He's really great. I fired my last guitarist for smuggling marijuana over the Canadian border. So it's just that I'm drug-free now, and I just I'm against it. So it's just not good. It really fucked me up for a lot of years of my life, and so when my autobiography comes out, anyway.
Isn't Ace on the song?
Yeah, we flew Ace out. So he's 2 months ago. We flew him out, and he was still bitching, as he always bitches. But I still love him. I mean, Ace and I are still like this. We always will be. His wife is godmother to my daughter, who just turned 13, which is really making me freak out because she's got a boyfriend and I can't deal with this shit. I really can't. So it's like, bring him over and I'll bring out my 357 and it's like, all right, what do you plan on doing with my kid, But yeah, it's real scary having a daughter that's 13. She's absolutely beautiful. She's like 5'7", and I have been divorced for 3 years and I got a new girl in my life. So I just bought a house near Dennis Hopper. So things go really good. Really good. And I want to come to see you guys. It's kind of nice.
Tell me about the upcoming record. You're recording it now, right? You're finishing it right now.
Yeah, we are. It's a 13 CD, and I just signed with TNT Records for a 3-album deal, which is pretty good, so I know I'm working for the next 3 years. And the CD5 that we released, I wanted to do that because it was like saying thank you to you guys for hanging with me through all the years and the bad times that I went through. I recently got in a really bad accident, and they had to reconstruct my whole side of my face here. I got carjacked, and I got 7 screws in my face now. So it was a real bad trip, and but I'm over that crap. And, you know, I'm starting a whole new life, and it's really good. But I felt at least the least I could do for you guys, for what you've done for me through all the years, was release a 5 album that only you guys could get, nobody else could get. And I think that's a good payback. You know, we redid Beth for the first time since '76. Jesus Christ, that's a long time ago. But we did it with just an acoustic, and it really came out, I think, better than the other one because I meant it more this time. I really got into it. And, you know, we're going to redo these 5 on the 13th, but we're adding new stuff to them, so they'll never be like the ones that you guys got, the 5 CD. And to me, it was just a way of saying thank you. You know, thanks for being there for me throughout all these years. I mean, I don't know how the other guys feel, but that's how I feel.
Tell me about coming up with the idea for the EP and wearing the half makeup. That was a real interesting thing.
It's weird putting it on after all these years, but I dug it. I actually wanted to put it all on at one point. I said, fuck it, this looks cool. The rest of it. But it was kind of saying, you know, it was kind of saying goodbye to the 70s and hello 90s. I mean, I got my hair cut and I got a whole new image and a new attitude. And so it's sort of saying to you guys, you know, this was that and this is now. That was then and this is now and something like that. But I thought it was cool. I thought it was a cool idea. So we went ahead with it. The record company mine, so they let us do it. And, you know, that was that.
There's not a lot known about the band you were in prior to Kiss and after Chelsea called Lips, which is an interesting beginning with Kiss.
Well, actually, it's a New Jersey boy in Lips. Stan Pecker was in Lips. And a guy named Mike Brunn. Everybody's asking me why did I dedicate my first album to Michael Brunn. And the reason was, he was a great bass player, and I told him if I ever did a solo album, he'd play on it. But he died of spinal meningitis when he was like 26, and his wife was pregnant, and so he never saw his kid, and I really felt bad about that. So I sent his wife a gold record, and I dedicated the album to him. But the band, and we were together like maybe 6 months, and then I auditioned for Gene and Paul, and the rest is Kiss to the record.
Didn't you guys go back then record an early version of that was called Back, written for the bass players?
Well, we wrote that song originally about one of the guitarists in the band's wife was named Beck. Real pain in the ass, this bitch. So, I mean, she would call us up at the studio, call us up on the road. And he was like, this guy could not get away from her. And it started out as a joke, this song, to kind of rag on his old lady. And then it got serious, and I started thinking, well, let's turn it around and write about leaving home and how really bad that is. And then Bob Ezrin took some money for coming up with the idea of the prick. We said, why don't you call it Beth? It makes more sense. And I said, all right. So we called it Beth, which was actually, it was a good idea. It was better than bad.
You're well known for the drum riser and the hydraulic drum riser and things like that. Yeah, that is pretty cool. But in early Kiss days, didn't you also have exploding drumsticks? And why did you stop using them?
We had, we were crazy when we were kids. We had these sticks, these tubes, and I used to put gunpowder and flash paper in it. And then you kind of flip the switch, and it would shoot out all the audience and explode, which I thought was great. I love bombs. I used to love bombs. And one night, 3 guys loaded it 3 times. So this metal tubing was now a grenade. And one of my drum techs tested it, and he blew his hand right off. He just blew his hand off. And he came up to audition with like a stub, and I threw up, and I was sick in the stomach. We were opening up for Susie Quattro, I won't forget, it was in Detroit. And that 86 to 6, it could have been my hand. I thought about that a lot of times. It could have been my hand that blew up. And it was this guy, Lucy, we used to call him. And it was really sad. It was really sad. So but I love the idea of, I'm going to try it again. Only I'll get something safe, but don't blow up.
There's a famous photo of Kiss from Cream where you guys are pictured without makeup, which was taken, I think, in 1974. Talk about the circumstances behind that, because
they lied. There's a lot of lies. I hate liars and thieves, but these guys told us that Bill Coyne said it's cool to take a picture without makeup, and we believed them, and we went ahead and did. That's a terrible picture, too. That's a really nightmare picture. I think I had my eyebrows. Ace and I were crazy. I wanted to be David Bowie, and she had eyebrows off. Yeah, that was funny.
One of the most asked questions from fans for the past couple of years is, what's happening with your book? I mean, it's been in the plans for many, many years. What has happened?
Well, I've been working on it for 9 years now, and I know I've read articles where Paul says a bunch of shit. I'm not ragging on the band. It's about my life. It's about Kiss, of course, but it's about the 60s and growing up in Penn State, and Jimi Hendrix, and at that time, going to Greenwich Village was great. You didn't get killed. I used to ride the trains like 5 in the morning with my drums, and it was all right. No, there was no graffiti. There was none of that shit in the 60s. It was more of this stuff, when guys would turn you on a joint more than they hit you with a sledgehammer. And it was just a good era. And so I kind of wrote about that and my experiences of what I went through to make it. And then, there's a big thing on Kiss, but it's more about my life. And I've had 5 writers, and they just couldn't get the gist of it. So now Laura Kaufman's I'm meeting with her next week, and she's going to take it over. But I'll get the sucker out. I'm going to get that out.
When do you hope to have it out, the book?
Excuse me?
When would you like to have the book?
I'd like to have it out when my album comes out, but I don't know if that's going to work. That would be really cool. And I get to Oprah Winfrey and invite her to the gig.
Aren't you going to have a different solo show? Aren't you going to do some acoustic stuff? I mean, break up the show?
Yeah. The new show that my guys have is we do half electric, half acoustic. Unplugged. I hate that name. We've been unplugged for years, man. The first instruments I had was just acoustic guitars. We couldn't afford electric guitars. But we're going to do this. We do a thing where we bring up all our stools, and I'm even playing guitar now. So we do like that, and Hard Luck Woman, and then we rearrange She, which I always like that song. So we put that down. You got to hear it's done on congas and acoustic guitars. So we do a good, maybe 40-minute acoustic show. And the kids love it, man, because I could sit here and get down to you guys, and then they all participate with like Hard Luck Woman. I'll do all the choruses and I'll do the verses. It's cool. It's a cool thing.
What's your thoughts on the upcoming Kiss My Ass tribute album with everyone from Stevie Wonder to Lenny Kravitz to Anthrax to Jim Blossoms? I mean, how does that make you feel that a diverse group like that? I mean,
if I wrote something, I'd be happy. Because I didn't write any songs. We got a call from Garth Brooks who heard Hard Luck Woman, and he thought I wrote it. And then the minute Stanley heard that was going on, they almost choked the guy that said, we wrote it, not we wrote it. Peter didn't write it. But the guy wouldn't have done it if he didn't hear me singing it. That's how I kind of look at it. That wouldn't have turned him on. You basically, when you hear a song, you don't buy it for the writer. You buy it because you dig it. You dig who's doing it. So I think it's cool. I think it's kind of a really nice thing. Somebody's doing a tribute to me. I mean, I don't think I'm worthy of it. I'm not worthy of it. But I don't, it's great.
In the Kiss Meets the Phantom film, when you hear your voice, it's not your voice. Why was that? What happened?
I was doing a lot of drugs then. I really was. I was doing a lot of coke and a lot of shit in my body. And I slurring a lot. And they just didn't care for my voice, which I don't think is any different than, hey, girl. They said big lines like, and I said, what the fuck? They're giving him these lines and they can't use my lines because I'm slurring? And he's getting away with his shit. But that's the story of that. That's really funny. But it's true, yeah. I hear Expo, hey, Jesus Christ. And they can't use my voice even though it's slurred. I mean, they're using his voice. And Paul looked like Dracula. This demon. I looked at that movie the other night with my girl, and we laughed. It was actually cool. But it was just so funny to go back and remember that day. It brought back a lot of memories, but it was fun doing it.
Tell me about your recollections of Neil Bogart. He was really important. Like Bill Alcoin, he was one of the major people behind.
Neil Bogart was like Bonham and Bailey. There's nobody like him left in the business. And this guy would spend $1 million to make a buck. He would put a big show on and walk home with $1, but be happy that he entertained 50,000 people. There's nobody left like that today. Everybody wants. This is a depression. I don't think we're in a recession. This is really bad that we're in. So lately I've been getting real political and we're in a lot of political shit, but because I think we're getting fucked over by a lot of government crap. I'll probably get assassinated for running for this, but I just think that our country's in bad shape, man. And so I'm writing stuff like that lately. I'm in LA and it's really scary there. There's a lot of gangs and crack and drugs, and it's worse than here. I don't think nobody's worse than Jersey or New York. Brooklyn, but it is. So.
There was talk of a Kiss cartoon show happening, I think, in the late 70s as well. There's also been talk that you guys did the pilot for it.
Nothing ever happened. And I don't know what happened with that. I think now they're going to do another cartoon on me and my band, because Lita Ford, the guy who manages her band, is me, Mike Brunn, and that's all I know. I don't know what happened with that. That would have been cool. I was hoping that they would have did like a TV thing every Saturday morning with us, like superheroes. That would have been dynamite. Because I like cartoons, man. I dig them.
Aren't you going to do a video, your first solo video?
Yeah, we're funny. My first video since Kiss is Shandy when I left them guys. Yeah, we're finally doing it. I'm finally doing a video today, like next month, with my band, Criss. It's exciting. We're going to do a new single, Bad Attitude, so I'm looking forward to it.
You mentioned Shandy. Is that the last time you ever appeared with Kiss in anything? And tell me about the experience of
it. It was really a bummer. It was really sad. We made up that day, and they made up in one room, and I made up in my own room without them. And we only met on the stage to do the video, and they didn't even say goodbye to me. They just fucking got their makeup off and walked out. The three of them, actually, even Ace at that point. But he's apologized way for that a long time for me. But yeah, it was really sad. Everybody was crying, the roadies were crying, and people addressed us. And I got so pissed, I took one of Gene's guitars. So I'm going to sell one of Gene's basses, actually. I don't want it. But it was just a bummer day. It was a real bad day. It was the end of something that was really great. It was over. I'm not, being egotistic, but I really believe when Ace and I left, it was over. I really believe it.
That's right!
I know Kiss is still great, and I like him, but there was nothing like the four of us. We never will be.
That's right, Mayor!
God bless Eric Carr. I mean, really, God bless him. I mean, he sat in my seat, and that's a hard seat to sit in back there, especially with Gene and Paul. It really is a hard seat. And the kids sat there, and I really liked Eric. Eric was a really good guy. He pulled me up a lot of times, and he said, even when he did Beth, he didn't want to do it. He said, I really don't want to do this, and you're making me do it. I felt really bad for him. There's a lot of other stories I know that I wouldn't want to tell you what went on with Eric and Gene and Paul, but it's kind of sad. Well, you can read about it, but it's just kind of a bummer the way he got out of the band, the way they put him in. That's how they are. Again, when we were together, we were kick-ass, man. We were the greatest band in the world, and I believe that.
What do you remember about the band's first nighttime TV appearance on the Paul Lynde show where you're playing Beth on the piano? Were you actually playing? Or?
No, there was no keys on it. There was but it was cool because I got the spotlight. Anytime I got the spotlight, they freak out. But it's like drummers are not allowed to come out here. But that's bullshit, because you got Phil Collins and Don Henley and a lot of other great drummers now that are breaking out from the drums. Not that I ever give them up, but now it's kind of nice to come out from the drums and sing with a guitar and boomers, and I get to perform for people. And it's a good feeling, man. It's lonely back there, so, that was a cool, it was a good night.
What memorabilia did you save from your Kiss days?
I still have the cape with the big lion's heads. And I still have one of my outfits, and I have 2 pairs of boots, and I got tons of dolls and lunchboxes and school bags, and my pinball machine and slot machine. I'm going to get rid of some of it this year. I'm working a deal out with Mainline magazine to get rid of my world drums they want to buy from me, and I'm going to get rid of something else. I mean, it's in my garage, and it's just collecting dust, and why not you guys have it? I mean, it was good to me, so I don't really need it. I'm going to keep the real special stuff for myself, and my daughter wants my dolls, so I don't give her my dolls. Although she ain't playing with dolls anymore. She's playing with boys, but she still wants my dolls. So some things I won't give up, and I'm going to give up a lot of stuff for that. I mean, it's just collecting dust, and I just bought a new house, and I got new girls, so I feel like I'm starting a whole new chapter again. I've gone to a good 4 of my lives, and I only got like 5 now. I don't want to go through the next 5. I want to last a little longer. It's just stupid.
I understand you have some new tattoos. Why don't you show them off?
Yeah!
That's for my mom. That's my daughter. And I got those pretty cool. So yes, tattoos are big in LA. I guess they're big here too, but I just wanted to get them. I don't know if I'll get any more.
At what point in the band's career did it start to go sour for you? At what point, how long was it good where everyone was really getting along real well, and at what point did it sour?
I'd say 78, it started getting bad. I think the 4 solo albums were a mistake. I think it made all of us a little crazy, a little more more egotistic. It was like, well, my album outsold, your album, and your album outsold. It got really, and then we're not doing your songs, Peter, because they're too R&B, and they're too black, and it's got too much, and it just turned out to be a nightmare, and we started arguing, and I think that was stupid. I think we should have just did a double one with all of our songs on it, and then we should have stayed as a band. I mean, we drifted away from each other. I married a centerfold, which was really a nightmare. I should write a movie. I married a centerfold with a nightmare. But we were all getting so rich and crazy and powerful, and the coke then was so in the 70s. Cocaine was like it was acceptable. I mean, I would get to my hotel room and Casablanca would have an agent waiting for me to say, welcome to Hollywood. And then I would say, yeah, great, man. Do it all up and do the town for 4 days and then crash and so like shit. But that was in the 70s. Things have changed. I'm glad the 90s, everybody's getting smarter, I think, with the AIDS and the crap and the drugs. I'm starting to do these conventions more, and I'm digging them because I'm a lot of people now are really hip to staying straighter than being so fucked up. You just live longer. I like getting laid. I like to eat good. I like to travel. I get up now every day. I ride my bike. I go to the gym. I stay in good shape. I have a lot of sex. I just think life is a lot better for me now than it's ever been. I'm really happier, and that's why these conventions now that I'm doing them, it's a rush to come out and see all these people, all you guys that are still picking up my old stuff and still we're kind of like grooving. I mean, we were on Beavis and Butthead, which I love that show, and they went, yeah, Kiss, those old guys, but they still roll. I kind of like that. I thought it was pretty cool. My daughter goes, wow, Dad, you're really famous. I saw you on Beavis and Butthead. I got 52 golden platinum records. I went, now she realizes I'm famous. Part two.
If you could re-record any Kiss song that you sang that you weren't as happy with the way it came out, what would you pick and why?
Mainline. I'd like to do Mainline.
Yeah. What would you do differently?
I'd sing the shit out of it now. I got much more in me now than I have then. Maybe a couple other ones at Ace Road I'd like to redo. Yeah.
How did that happen though?
I'd probably do, I'd like to do Stanley's song of Do You Love Me? I'd love to sing that.
That was some good drum work. I mean, how would that happen? Normally, the person who wrote the song would sing it. I mean, there was rare occasions where it was different. For instance, Getaway, Ace Road that you sang. But how would it come about you would do a song like Mainline, which was Paul's song?
Because I liked it. I thought it was a good song. As much as I like bases, there was even Paul wrote Hard Luck Woman, but Eddie Kramer liked the way I sang it better. Just some songs, you sing. You could write them, but the other guy sings them better. You let him do it because the whole idea is at least get the song done and get it out there. I don't really care who sings what I write in my band, but lately they've been making me sing a lot more than usual, so my voice has really gotten a lot. I've learned a lot more about my throat, so I could either go from a Lennon McCartney to a Jim Morrison to a Rod Stewart. And I've been really working hard now on my art. I really want, next show when my band comes out, I really want to shine. I really want to shine like Kiss. I don't think we'll ever be as big as the boys were, but I'd like to get these somewhere on the ladder. I just want to perform again, man. I just want to get back on stage and play, sing. Miss you guys, man. It's been a while.
You were close friends with Jerry Nolan and the New York Dolls, and I was curious to see if you could talk about the influence of the Dolls on Kiss, because they seemed to be right before Kiss, and they really had a lot to do with what you guys became.
Well, when we saw the Dolls, that was the glam rock era. And so we started dressing up like queens. Gene looked like an old whore. 42nd Street was great. We used to really rib him about it. And that's when we really used to get along great. We were really inseparable. We were really good friends. And we just realized, though, we looked too much like the Dolls. We had lipstick and eyeshadow and makeup on. Except no high heels, no nylons. And we went one night to see Alice Cooper at the Garden. And it freaked me out. I mean, I just loved them. And we thought, what would it be like to have 4 Alice Coopers instead of 1? Only with our own personalities. And that's kind of how it came about, really, for me.
There's a great photo that's circulating now, a couple different outtakes from the first album, where there's some pretty interesting shots. And is it true that someone else did your makeup for that cover?
Yeah, I had to be the sucker. I didn't really want to do it. They had this makeup guy there. And And so I volunteered. And I was really sorry after I did it because there was nowhere but my makeup. Just but I did it. I have an original picture in my house from that session on my wall.
What's your favorite Kiss costume that you wore? Which
One of the zippers. I like that one. And I met a kid in the airport yesterday who had it. And I really wanted it back. And I said, give me that back. I like that out because you can get a lot of air, where it belongs.
What were the nicknames for the guys in the band, and what was your nickname?
I was always called Catman, and my band still just calls me Cat now. But Ace was always called Space Cadet, and Paul was definitely a Star Child. Gene was totally the demon. It's obvious. You don't get no more demonic than Gene Simmons, as far as I'm concerned. But as far as anything, look at that. I'm not right. Gene has got to be one of the greatest fucking performers I've ever worked with on stage. I mean, the guy is absolutely brilliant. I mean, when I used to sit back there and watch these guys, they really worked for their money, man. I mean, Paul with those high shoes, to jump off those ladders, I couldn't believe he could do that. And that's really hard. You guys don't have any idea how his anchors used to kill him after a show. But to me, watching the blood and the fire, it was great. It was like I had a ringside seat. And I still believe that we were the greatest theatrical band in the world. I think, we really were. Thank you.
Did you guys ever pull any fun pranks you could talk about on each other?
Well, I hate to put the cat out of the bag, but yeah, there was a lot of them. It was one that Ace and I got lonely. And we bought these Black & Decker tools, and we drilled a hole through my wall to his room, like a tunnel. And it cost us $5,000, but we drilled through the wall, and then we got to go to this little. I don't know why. Don't even ask me why we did this. I used to love to throw phones and TVs out the window and buy extension cord and see if it would last before it hit the floor, hit the ground. And we used to make bets on how long the TV would go down before the extension broke. It got really boring on the road, so I bought this also chainsaw, and I used to, the drawers, I would chainsaw the drawers off and then take all the wood and we dump it out the window. So the next guy get in the hotel, he just put up the piece. I thought that was hilarious. I don't know why. I just thought that was sick. And we used to put eggs in Gene's boots. That was one of my favorites. Eggs.
How did he react?
I loved it because he used to put them on and go, oh, there you go, Stanley, there you play Paul. And I was just like grinning like a Cheshire cat. I just ate a bird. And, but he caught me, he'd get that. I'd open up my kit and there'd be some bullshit in there. We had a lot of fun.
Recording what Kiss album holds the happiest memories for you? Which one really stands out as being a real?
The first one, it was like, we finally got a record deal. I think for any musician, it's the first album. It's such a rush, I remember I slept with my first full record. It was such a good feeling. I wanted to sleep with it. But the first album had a lot of memories. I think also Dress to Kill was the great album. We had a ball with that album. We had this huge hall like this with beds and all kind of crap in it. It was the first time we got Paulie drunk, which was a change of pace to see him drunk. And Gene, I think, even got a little loaded because I know he jumped in the swimming pool with his whole outfit on and he got back. But Gene to do that, I think he got a little loaded. So that was a good session. That was a good album too. I like that.
Paul once said that he thought that the demos for that album that Eddie Kramer produced came out a lot better than some of the tracks on the first. Did you feel that way?
Yeah, I agree. Matter of fact, Eddie Kramer got us our deal. Eddie Kramer did our first demos, and then when we got the deal, we didn't use him. We used Kenny Kerner and Richie Wise. Well, I'm still friends with Kenny Kerner. Matter of fact, I'm doing a lecture at Drum College May 23rd. But we didn't use Eddie, and I thought that was a major mistake. I definitely thought. Excuse me, as much as Richie and Kenny were great, Eddie was the best. He did Hendrix and Zeppelin, and that's what we wanted. They were kick-ass producers.
This is the last question because we're running late and want Peter to start signing for you guys. So this is the obvious question that people are really curious about. Any plans for a reunion? Have you been contacted? What you do?
I tell you, if the four of us would sit in a room without the managers and the lawyers and all the bullshit, and really sat in a room and hashed it out like men, because we're all older now. I've got a kid, Gene's got kids, Paul's got a kid, Ace got kids. When you have a kid, it changes your whole life. It really does, man. You really got someone else to be I mean, I'm crazy about my kid. I mean, it's like, I'm more like to her, not only dad, I'm like her boyfriend and her friend. We hang out together and we do really great things together. And it's, I would sit down, if we could sit down and say, look, man, whatever went on, and let's just drop this shit. And we owe it to our fans. I would do it. If we split it, 4 equal shares, and I put the makeup back. I would do it again. There's a whole 10 years that people haven't seen us, and I think that's sad. I would do a reunion. Sure.
Let's hear it for Peter.
God bless you.
Okay, let's have a nice hand for Ken Sharp, who moderated this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to call a number on the orange ticket, and what you'll do is you'll line up here in the front for your autograph. Only the numbers that we call will line up.
Alrighty, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed listening and watching that old Peter Criss interview as much as I did. It was a blast reliving those years. I can't believe it was almost 30 years ago. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button below. If you're listening to one of my podcasts, subscribe over there as well. Also, head on over to Facebook and follow my page, The Rock Experience with Mike Brunn, where each and every day we talk about all the rock and roll music that you love. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter as well. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you all next time.